Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I am going to talk about Wish World, the brand new Doctor Who episode that actually released a few days ago. But this is a very pivotal episode in season 15 because it sets up the grand finale with a mind-bending alternate reality created by the Rani or the Ranis. I mean, there are two of them, I suppose, but also with Conrad. Conrad and the two Ranis are trying to build a different reality where the Doctor and Belinda are human and where, the castaways of this world are Ruby Sunday and Shirley and Bingham, which are obviously very important characters in Doctor Who because Ruby was the first companion of the 15th Doctor, and Shirley and Bingham, or Binging, whatever, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She is actually the main head operative of unit, so she investigates like paranormal stuff and very interesting stuff. It's like an alternate reality that the Doctor lives in, and he doesn't really know who he is, obviously. But the episode follows the Doctor, played by Shruti Gatwa, and Belinda Varata Sethu, as they navigate a world shared by Conrad Clark and also the Rani, played also by Archie Punjabi, which is very interesting. In the beginning of this episode, you actually saw her actually going to, I think it was like the 19th century, kidnapping a child, which is actually the mysterious god Desiderium, playing a crucial role in this episode. Obviously, it's actually, or he or whatever, the baby is actually some kind of god that can create wishes, which is interesting. So ever since the 14th Doctor laid salt at the end of the universe, the gods have been slipping, and obviously we have the toy maker, the maestro, Lux, and now we have the god of wishes or luck or whatever, the god Desiderium, which is really interesting. But anyway, the Rani's plan, she manipulates the wish word to crack open reality, allowing her to find the one and only Omega, a classic villain, obviously. Returning faces, like I said, fans were thrilled to see Melanie Bush, played by Bonnie Langford, and Rogue, played by Jonathan Groff, back in action. But we also have Poppy's mystery. The Doctor claims to have a daughter named Poppy, whose existence could have major implications for Time Lord lore. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be something established. Like, Poppy is obviously a space baby from, I think, the second episode of 15th Doctor era, but I'm not quite sure. Like, obviously, the Doctor has his granddaughter Susan, which also appeared in this episode. But yeah, I think next episode, like, the stakes are so high. Omega is going to be there. Susan is probably going to be there. Rogue is going to be there. Or at least I hope so, because the things are connecting now, and it's really interesting to see. Like, I've never had an episode of Doctor Who actually making me so anxious. The episode ends off with Doctor falling down and like the vast deep depths of like the underworld, which is like a reality underneath our world where reality breaks. But anyway, reality versus illusion. The episode explores how doubt can reshape existence, with the Doctor's skepticism literally tearing apart the wish world. We also have the Rani's obsession with Omega, and it hints at the deeper themes of devotion and control. The Doctor slowly regains his memories, questioning the fabricated world around them. But the thing is, also with the Rani and Doctor, the Doctor mentioned, like, I think it was 3 times already, that he is the only surviving member of Gallifrey. But the Rani exists, and that's interesting because the Rani wants to find Omega. But all these three characters are also Gallifreyan. They're from the planet Gallifrey. Obviously, they're all three Time Lords, right? But I was also wondering, well, you have the Rani, which was presumed to be dead, but she's still here. We have Omega, which was also presumed to be dead, but he's also here. The Doctor, obviously, being the main character, he can't really die. Well, he can, but, but I was also wondering, well, if you have the Doctor, you also have the Valeyard, right? So the Valeyard is probably somewhere in the universe traveling. We also have, I guess, the meddling monk. I think that's also an interesting character to be maybe explored in the future. But we also have Rassilon, and Rassilon is dead presumably. But like any other Doctor Who story, he always comes back, man. Rassilon's seal was also seen in this episode, and that's very very interesting. Obviously, the Rani, I guess the two Ranis creating this world where they want to find Omega, and Omega was the first Time Lord, or well, they said this in the episode, but it is not, because the Doctor is actually the first Time Lord, because he is, or it is, the timeless child, which means the Doctor is actually the one who created the regeneration power for the Time Lord, so he is the first Time Lord, right? If that makes sense. Hopefully that's going to be touched upon in the next episode. But yeah, like every little connection of the 15th Doctor era and the entire thing that Russell T Davies has been trying to make is all connecting now. It's very very interesting. I love it. So there we go. Omega's return, his potential arrival could shake the foundations of the Doctor Who universe, and obviously the Doctor's daughter, if Poppy is truly his child, it could redefine the Time Lord lineage. But I'm not quite sure. Maybe the space babies are the new Gallifreyans. But would that make sense? I'm really not quite sure. With the wish world collapsing, the Doctor faces one of his most dangerous challenges yet. And that's obviously in the next part, which will be the reality war. But yes, the reality in this episode was really weird. Obviously, we had the Doctor working for some kind of financial, I guess, bureau, which was the Unified Intelligence, like, insurance company or whatever. So instead of unit, it was an insurance company, which was very interesting to see. We also had Kate Stewart and I believe the general or the captain from unit, who also worked in that building, but they were also, like, you know, characters that were playing roles, right? Which was very interesting. But although these two characters, like Kate Stewart and oh boy, what was his name? Captain whatever Singh, I think so. Anyway, they still have this relationship between each other, which will eventually lead to the war between the land and the sea, where they'll actually end up together, maybe. I'm not quite sure, which is really interesting. There was also this small little cameo in today's episode, or in this week's episode, where a content creator or a YouTuber, a Doctor Who YouTuber, appeared in. He is named Theris or Tharis or something like that. He's a pretty big-ish YouTube channel about Doctor Who, and he played like a background character here, which was really fun to see. And I did some research, and yeah, it was really nice. I mean, it's always fun for Doctor Who fans to be in Doctor Who, right? So yeah, that makes sense. You know, that was really fun for him. I also watched his video. He talked about the experience with Russell T Davies and stuff like that. I'm really glad he's in the show. Another fun cameo in this episode was actually seeing Susan Sarandon again, because she was supposedly killed off in the previous season, but now she was back, and or I guess she works for Unit now, but now she works as like just someone who does things in Unit. But in today's episode, or this week's episode, she was a cleaning lady, or someone who actually gave coffee to the Doctor, or to John Smith, right? It was very interesting to see her too. And the thing is, I also thought about this: if Omega was to return, and Rassilon made a mention, or was mentioned, and you know, the Rani is back, maybe the Master or the Missy could return as well, because Michelle Gomez was on the premiere for obviously Doctor Who a while ago. So yeah, I guess that could make sense, right? Like, Jo Martin was also there, but she appeared in the show, so maybe Michelle Gomez will return as Missy. Boy, I hope so, because she is one of my favorite Master incarnations. But whatever will happen in the future, we'll need to wait and see for it. So alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye everyone, or should I say Doctor Who. I'll let you go, and I won't see you.